Well, you really never know, do you? Who's going to stop in to visit? Well, back in 1967, Al Davis was the managing general partner of the Oakland Raiders, who traded for a brilliant young quarterback from Denver. Today, Al Davis is still the managing general partner of the world champion Raiders, and he's here to present that quarterback, Willie Brown, for enshrinement. Mr. Al Davis.
Thank you very much. For 3 memorable decades, the Oakland and now Los Angeles Raiders have had the greatest players, the greatest coaches, the greatest plays, and performed in the greatest games ever played in the annals of sport. Willie Brown was one of those greatest players. Willie Brown is one of those greatest coaches. Today is a day of glory for me because it is a great honor to serve in this role. I have shared great moments in Willie Brown's life, and my family, my friends, have a strong love and adulation for Willie and his family. Willie Brown came to the Pro Football Denver Broncos in 1963 from Grambling University, where his coach was the renowned and great Eddie Robinson. Willie was not only a great football player, he was senior class president. His playing career in the American Football League and the National Football League spanned 16 seasons as a starting cornerback. 12 of those magnificent playing years were with the Raiders, 1967 to 1978. During those years, the Raiders had the best record not only in pro football, but also in all the sports. 10 of those years, Willie Brown was All-Pro. He was named the All-Pro cornerback in the American Football League's history. He played in each of the American Football League's All-Star games and in the first 4 AFC, NFC Pro Bowl games. He is the only player in pro football history who has intercepted at least 1 pass in each of 16 consecutive seasons. He has been in 4 Super Bowls, 2 as a player, 2 as a coach. He had 54 career interceptions. He was born with great physical talent. It was up to Willie to put it to use, and did he ever put it to use? I can remember, as if it were only yesterday, the first time I saw him play in 1963, and from then on, he created a style of play for cornerbacks that has been synonymous with excitement, daring, and attack. It is called bump and run, pressure defense. Willie Brown has a special place in the hearts of the Raider organization, and especially the teammates who wore the famed silver and black. He wore those colors with pride, he wore them with poise, and he wore them with class. He was a star among stars. Some of those great teammates, those star teammates of his are here today. The indestructible Jim Otto, the greatest center of the modern era. And I say that Willie Brown is the greatest cornerback of the modern era. The legendary George Blander is here today, the greatest clutch player the game has ever known. Willie Brown was a great clutch player. I'd like to take you back a few years. Playoff time, Super Bowl time, clutch time. 1970, Don Shula's Miami Dolphins are in the Oakland Coliseum. The Raiders hold a short lead late in the 4th quarter. The splendid Bob Greasy back to throw. Willie Brown intercepts and runs 50 yards for a touchdown to break the game open. 1973, playoff time. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in the Oakland Coliseum. The incomparable Terry Bradshaw back to throw. Late in the 3rd quarter, Willie Brown intercepts and runs 65 yards for a touchdown. Let's go to 1977, the Super Bowl, Pasadena, California, the Minnesota Vikings and the Oakland Raiders. The great Fran Tarkenton back to throw in the 4th quarter. Willie Brown intercepts, runs 75 yards for a touchdown, which is still a Super Bowl record today. His loyalty devotion, dedication still reap the rewards of victory. Willie Brown was an organization man. He played football for the organization. He wanted a win for the organization. As a player, he was a coach's dream. And that is why when Willie Brown's career ended in 1978, when he no longer wore the famed silver and black with the number 24, he was asked by the Raider organization to change his battle-scarred helmet to a coach's cap. Another magnificent testimonial to his ability came in January 1984, the Super Bowl. 130 million fans watched the secondary of the Los Angeles Raiders perform brilliantly, and the written words after that game that Hayes and Haynes were the greatest pair of cornerbacks ever on one team, that Willie Brown was their coach. Willie Brown was their inspiration. It was a reaffirmation of his style of play that began in 1963. I repeat myself, I've said it before, I've had the great pleasure to be on this podium before to introduce some of the great players who ever played in this game. And I've always said it's an emotional and inspirational experience to be a member of the National Football League and come back here to this hall and to walk through its exhibits, to stand in the shadows of the great men whom we all idolized and in whose glory we all share. This great class, Taylor, McCormick, Weinmeister, and others who have helped professional football so, brings a realization of the debt we owe to them. I can only say that we will never forget that debt. Willie Brown, the magnificent horseman who delivered fear and interceptions upon all the great wide receivers of his time, who for more than 3 decades and in the years to come will be the standard of excellence by which cornerbacks are judged. Only time, the great robber, beat Willie Brown at the corner, but time could not defeat him, for the legend of Willie Brown will live on in perpetuity in this Camelot, which is the National Football League Hall of Fame. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the great Willie Brown. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You know, what can you say after all of that? It's amazing that when I was dealing with him a contract, all of this didn't come up. How great I was. I have it, but for your information, I have it in my contract a long time ago when I was dealing. I told him if I ever make the Hall of Fame, he owed me $1 million. So, Al, I guess this is the day. We'll deal with it when we get back. You know, Al is a unique guy. He take the credit for a lot of things, particular attaining me and getting me to the Raiders. But the lady who is really responsible for all of this is Mrs. Cal Davis, you see. She saw me play in '63, so she decided that she wanted me to come to Oakland. And he does not take the credit for it. Mrs. Davis take the credit. You know, before he make a decision, so sports writer can get all this straight, before he make any decision about personnel, he checked with Mrs. Davis. Now, whatever she said, if she says okay, it's okay. Seriously, thank you, Mr. Davis. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. And dear friends and football fans, this is a dream day in my life. I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee, the City of Cannon, and their generous welcome, and acknowledge my family and friends who have come to witness this occasion. I would like to congratulate the other 3 athletes, Mike, Ernie, and Charlie. Truly, to me, this is the greatest group that ever been inducted into the Pro Hall of Fame.
This is all made over.
When I was informed of my selection to the Hall of Fame, my thoughts immediately turned to great players like Jim Thorpe, Willie Davis, Red Grange, Sammy Ball, Jimmy Brown, Gale Sayles, George Blandner, and Jim Otto, just to name a few. It was like a dream to come true that I would be joined the 122 other in this inspiring Hall of Fame, dedicated to the greatest player in America, greatest sports. In fact, my dreams go back when I entered Grambling College there to play for the finest college coach in the country, Eddie Robinson. And then it's continued when Frank Pop Ivy of the Houston Oilers gave me a free agent tryout. It was on to the Denver Broncos before it had been traded to an organization with a will to win and a commitment to excellence that have led this team to the winningest record in all of professional football. Helping my dreams come true in the past 16 years as a player in both the American and National Football League was the greatest coaches and players in the league, both on my team and on the opposing team. A player seldom forget a teammate and never forget his coach. Men like James Ingram and Peter Boston at N.D. Taylor High in Yazoo City, Mississippi. For my coach at Grambling, Eddie Robinson. Then on in my professional career, my first coach in professional ball, George Dixon, Ed Hughes of the Broncos, Charlie Sumner, the late Richard McCabe, Bob Zeman, and Ray Wilsey with the Raiders. Another guiding light, as I mentioned earlier, is a coach, player. In the last 17 years have been a man I regard as a mastermind and as a friend. Al Davis, managing general partner of the now Los Angeles Raiders. I have always believed that if you can dream it, you can do it. These men, along with my lovely wife, Liz, and family, receive any recognition that I may receive. They share in it. The thrill of being a world champion through a Super Bowl victory is something every NFL player dreams about. But being voted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame is one of the greatest experiences that you can ever receive in any career. I'd like to thank you for that honor. May God bless you and take care of you.